Now, what happened on that break? It's what I've been trying to get my head around. Was it a mistake? Was it inevitable? Did it really matter? What do I take from it other than now knowing that sometimes an entire pack of digestives at 3 a.m. is just not enough digestives? One hour in to a 2-hour run. It has just started to pour with rain, which is marvellous. Where's Nixon? Nixon's having a drink somewhere. Legs are a little bit heavy, but Wednesday did a crazy tough B category Zwift race, got crushed, but by some of the biggest YouTubers on Zwift, so that's okay. Thursday was a 1-hour run. Yesterday, Friday, back on the bike for another long Zwift race, but back in category C, so back on the podium, so that was good. So to be expected that legs are a little bit heavy. And I've got to get used to it because in 4 weeks I run a 100-kilometre ultra marathon, twice as far as I've ever run. So heavy legs is going to be, just something to get used to, literally. Right, going to need an update on the 8-week fat loss journey. But I'm going to run home because I'm going to think about how to update it on the way home. A lot has happened since the last update. I'm not quite sure what to make of it all yet. Hopefully by the time I get home I will do. Okay, where's my dog? 2 hours, 20 kilometres, 6-minute kilometre pace, super slow for that run, but I need to get used to super slow because it's the only way I'm ever going to get around 100 kilometres and not die. I want sub 12 hours and that will mean 7-minute kilometre pace, so I figure running at 6 will allow for pit stops. Who knows, to be honest. When I've run 50k's in the past, I've gone off at 5-minute pace, which is sort of jogging, steady jogging pace for me. Feels pretty easy, but then at 40k, I'm on my knees. So I'm trying to be a bit more sensible with this one, as sensible as you can be when you start to train for a 100-kilometre ultramarathon with 4 weeks to go. Right, my last update video got as far as day 27, Sunday 24th of July, 2 weeks ago. Let's catch up. If you're new to this channel, I'm currently doing an 8-week fat loss journey, running up to my wedding in a couple of weeks' time and seeing what hurdles come up as I go. Trust me, recently I've had some hurdles come up. Now the day after day 28 was Sunday 25th and that was the end of week 4, so I was halfway. I also ran a Spartan race that Saturday and Sunday. I felt good, I felt light and fast doing those. Check out the quad definition, and that is a heavy sandbag. Don't be confused just because I carry it like a little girl's purse. I was in full on beast mode. So I felt the previous 4 weeks had been productive, they had been good, I was getting results, it was all coming together. What I should have done was simply stuck with what I was doing. If you do what you did, you will get what you got. Instead, Monday 26th, the first day of the second half of the 8 weeks, I was overly pumped to take things up a notch. I wanted more results faster. I also had no upcoming events in my diary, so nothing to get in the way of training however I wanted. I went all out. That week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I ran every day. I rode the bike in here every day. I lifted weights every day, probably running a 2,000 calorie a day deficit. Woke up Thursday, felt like shit, needed a break. Now, what happened on that break? It's what I've been trying to get my head around. Was it a mistake? Was it inevitable? Did it really matter? What do I take from it? So that Thursday, I don't want to train. I don't want to worry about what I have to eat. I have a chat with Jen and we both decide that the following Monday is going to be 3 weeks left until the wedding. So we will push hard during those 3 weeks for training, which gives us that day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday to relax a bit. Which is stupid because I'd just done 4.5 weeks of solid, consistent work that was working just fine. Anyway, next thing I know, we jump on a train and an hour later we are checking into a posh hotel in London for a night out. And we ate stupid amounts of food. We bought snacks on the way to eat in the hotel room before we went out. We then went out and ate out, and then we went back to the hotel room and ordered more food. By the way, who is the genius that invented the app where you log in and you tell it the hotel you're in and the room number? It then finds the fancy restaurants nearby that will deliver to your door. Amazing. You have not had a takeaway until hotel staff serve it to you on a little trolley.
2 scoops, sir?
Make it 3. I'm not driving.
Then Jen fell asleep and I went to the all-night store across the road from the hotel and bought more snacks. So I ended that day watching a movie at 3 a.m, I can't even remember what movie, eating lots, including an entire pack of digestives, while listening to the police fight with drunks in Trafalgar Square, which was probably a good thing because it sounded like it was really kicking off out there, and that was probably the only thing that stopped me from going back across the road to the store and getting more biscuits. I woke up Friday. The room looked like it was just missing Mike Tyson's tiger. Empty packets of food everywhere. And it went downhill from there. I'm not going to break down the whole 4-day weekend, but let me give you the Friday as a sample, because sometimes people will say, oh, you probably didn't eat that much, you're probably overestimating your calorie consumption. No, I am not. 2 bars of Bourneville chocolate that I'd missed from the night before, how, on the way to Paddington Station in the cab. Got there, a Burger King meal, a Cornish pasty and sausage roll, vegan, on the train, which is quite something because it's only a 25-minute train journey to get home. Got home, Huel shake when I got in. We then had a regular lunch. I then snacked on 6 packets of low-calorie crisps during the day. I had 3 Mountain Fuel energy bars while I was in here tidying up. They are so yummy. A whole pot of Oatly yogurt with chocolate chips and blueberries. And then Jen went out for drinks with a friend, so I had a Burger King. I had them deliver a vegan Whopper, a vegan Royale thing, fries, onion rings. Didn't arrive on a trolley, but take what you can get. I then picked Jen up around midnight and had a protein shake before bed with some more chocolate chips, as you do. Saturday and Sunday, repeat, with more digestives. I'm guessing around 10,000 calories a day, maybe more if I add in the bits I forgot. So all this week I have been back on it. Big calorie deficit, lifting daily, alternating a bike ride or a run each day, and now feel pretty comfortable this will continue for the last 2 weeks I've got left until the wedding, and with just a slight calorie increase beyond that, so that in 4 weeks I can do the Ultra 100k as light as possible, but with a bit more energy than I have at the moment. After that, I'll see where I am and decide what's next based on the events in the diary, how I feel, how I look. So I'm left with 2 questions to answer that you may have, and you probably should have. 1, what effect did all those extra calories have? And 2, what do I take from it all? So firstly, it did not have the effect you would think. If we say 40,000 calories over 4 days, and say at best 3,000 calories a day being burnt, at best, that's 28,000 calories divided by 3,500 calories, and a pound of fat gives us 8 pounds or 3.5 kilos, plus all the water that should be held with those carbs. I should have been heavy, but I didn't put on that much weight. Before the 4 days off, I was around 96 kilos. By Tuesday night, I was back to 97, and I was under 97 by Wednesday. I didn't weigh myself during the 4 days itself. Maybe it came and went real fast. More importantly, I definitely didn't get 8 pounds of body fat. I did get visibly softer, but not 8 pounds worth, no way near. Interestingly, one of the YouTubers that I raced on Wednesday was Eric the Electric, who is famous for not just his endurance cycling and running, but crazy eating challenges, where he will eat tens of thousands of calories in one go. And he discusses on his channel the impact that has on him, how many calories get burnt digesting the food, where the stored fat goes, how long it takes to appear, and why it isn't as simple as this many extra calories equals this much extra body fat. He has the same puzzlement sometimes as to how the numbers on paper don't translate to the impact on the body that you think they should do. Bottom line, I got away with it, almost. I didn't get 8 pounds fatter, but neither did I do what I could have done, which is just build on the progress I'd made 2 weeks ago. Had I done so, I would now be 2 weeks ahead of where I am, which is basically still where I was. So in simple terms, 1 long weekend robbed me of 2 weeks' gains. Which brings me on to the second question. Is there a lesson to be learned? As I was in the midst of those 4 days, knee deep in vegan Ben & Jerry's, I thought what I need to do is discover the secret to not doing this. I thought there must be a way of just stopping. I just couldn't think how. Sunday is a good example. I woke up Sunday and thought, today's the day. I've got this. I had Oreos for breakfast. Why did Monday end up being the day it stopped? I don't know, it just was. So having pondered this all week, this is the best I've come up with. I have no idea how to stop those weekends from happening. I have every motivation to not have them, and they still happen anyway. And I know if you're not susceptible to binge eating or any sort of addictive, compulsive behavior, it's easy to look and think, it's just willpower, just don't eat it. I don't know what to tell you. The compulsion to eat becomes overwhelming. I've known alcoholics very well and watched the way they will drink when it makes no sense to the outside world why they would do that. And I hesitate to draw the line always between the comparison of alcohol and food, but the compulsion aspect is the same. In fact, the best description I have ever heard of how strong that desire is was from a heroin addict who was trying to explain his addiction, and he likened it to holding your breath. There comes a point where you just can't hold your breath any longer. There is a part of your brain deep in there somewhere that overrides you and says, no, we are now going to breathe. Or in my case, no, you are now going to the fridge. So rather than stop it, I'm thinking the lesson is to learn to deal with it instead. In the past, I would have come to Monday and maybe not had another 10,000 calorie day, but I would not have worked out. I would not have watched what I ate. I'd have been beaten by what just happened. Like emerging from the tornado bunker after the storm has wrecked my farmhouse and just then sitting there crying in the rubble. But that is dumb. What is better is to do what I did do, which is just accept that sometimes the weather is a bit windy and just get on with tidying things up. So that is where I am. That weekend came, it went. I'm not dead. Most of the farm survived and I'm vegan, so there'd be no farm animals hurt anyway. On we go. I do lose 2 weeks of gains, but so what? A bigger mistake would be to sulk about it for a month and then lose 2 or 3 or 4 times that amount. Having said that, accepting that storms come along does not mean that I shouldn't be at least exploring some options to better deal with them when they do. I have probably now exhausted the stopping them from happening side of things. When I went into this 8-week process, I thought that doing updates on YouTube, I thought there's no way with this obligation that I'll crack, not to mention my wedding coming up, but I did crack. So forget holding back the weather, but maybe I can find a way to better limit the damage done during the storm. That is a work in progress right now. One idea I'm working on is when it happens, should I eat even more? If day 1 was 20,000 calories, maybe day 2 would never happen because I'd be in no condition to get out of bed, let alone eat more. Sort of storm fast tracking. Very much a work in progress. I may play with that idea a bit more once I'm where I want to be. Right now, I'm focused on the next 2 weeks and the forecast is good, so no need to mess about with anything else. Right, let's do these update photos. So I'm looking at these photographs while I edit them in and a little context might be useful, and forgive the noise of the rain on the roof, British summertime. So the first 4, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they are after the back-to-back Spartan races. My diet is fine, it's on point, and I'm training hard. But I look worse in these photographs than before the weekend, I think. Only slightly, but it's a noticeable difference. And after expending so much energy on the weekend, I'd expected the opposite. I think what is going on here is that my body was pretty beaten up after the races, and so I just think that this is a reflection of inflammation and exhaustion combined. I've still got a few injuries now. If you're preparing for a photo shoot, what you would not do is go out and bash every joint in your body the day before so you just looked a puffy mess. There are photos, or there were photos, over the disaster days, but I can't find the SD card, genuinely, maybe I ate it, and they would have shown very little anyway. This is the important one though, 40,000 calories later on the Monday. Definitely softer, definitely gone backwards, but not back to square one by any stretch. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Friday of this week, steadily back to where I was. Wednesday is missing. I was too excited about the YouTuber Zwift race and just forgot to do a photo. And then this is today's photo. Don't forget, all of these pictures are taken in the worst possible way, or the least enhanced way. No pump, lit directly from in front with a giant light. And lastly, a comparison to the very first photograph I did. The legs are probably the most obvious difference, but there is an all-round reduction in body fat, clearly, which is useful to see. Actually, also useful to see is that this is weeks of hard work, and yet the difference is not the sort of dramatic change that you sometimes see people on social media portray as being possible. You put it on very slowly, it comes off very slowly. Okay, we are done. Next update video will be the middle of next week, and a few cool challenge videos coming up in the next couple of weeks as well, just to sort of keep myself motivated by something other than the horrendous 100-kilometer race. The first one will be next Saturday. That's my long run day, and it will be a marathon distance that day. But then straight back in here, jump on the bike and up out to Zwift. Can I get up the hill under an hour after running all that way is the challenge? No, it's not. Just can I get up the hill is the challenge. As always, any questions, any feedback, drop it in the comments. Unless you work in housekeeping at the Claremont Hotel just off Trafalgar Square and had to sort out our room after we left, in which case I don't need your feedback, but I genuinely do apologise.